Alright, here we are. Castle by the Sea adventure. Call of Doom. I've made up 8 randos. We'll get to know them right here. I'll go over them. I've got, I haven't bothered to give them names yet. I typically don't. When we first start off, these guys often don't last long. So once we start becoming a little more attached to them, we'll start giving them names. So this first guy here, this is a human clock maker. Strength 10, dexterity 10, IQ 15, health 11, willpower of 6, perception of 10. He has a screwdriver, which he will use like a lame dagger. His advantage is artificer, and he is hard of hearing. That's his disadvantage. Next we have a human gutter cleaner. He has a contact group, perhaps a gutter cleaning guild. His disadvantage is confused. His strength is 11, dexterity 9, IQ 10, 14, health. Everything else is pretty slightly above average, actually. Willpower 12, perception 13, hit points 11, fatigue 15. He fights with a shovel. He uses it as a mace. He hits with a 9 or less, or with an 8 or less on 3d6. Not great with the shovel. None of these guys are combat trained, obviously. We have a halfling academic. Strength 17, dexterity 7. This is the strongest academic I've ever heard of. IQ 11, health of 15. He's resistant to poison naturally with a +1. That's nothing major. And his disadvantage is he's a dreamer. His hit points is 8, fatigue 13. We've got a dwarven flower farmer. Strength of 9, dexterity 10, IQ 5. He's not too bright, and health of 8. He's got a merchant rank of 1, and he's lazy. He fights with a shovel as well. Hits with a 9 on 3d6, a 9 or less. For social reactions, the human clockmaker is a +1. We've got the human gutter cleaner. He's a -2 social reaction. Not a likable guy. +3 for the flower farmer. The dwarf is +3 social. He's a likable guy. And +1 for the halfling academic. On to the other 4. We have a halfling mushroom farmer. He has a strength of 12, a dexterity of 14, an IQ of 7, and a health of 14. Hit points 9. He has no hangover advantage. He can get away with drinking whatever he wants. Habit or expression is his disadvantage. He has a unique expression. I'll come up with that maybe during play. He fights with a shovel. He hits with a 13 or less on 3d6. Not bad. This guy is, his move is ridiculously high. Everybody else on here has, everybody except this guy here. In fact, these two have a 7 move. Everybody else has a 5, which is fairly typical. The average human has a move of 5, I believe. These guys move an extra 2 yards every second. These two will be the ones that will run away successfully and probably leave the rest of the gang for dead if it comes to that. Here's a crop farmer elf. Strength 10, dexterity 9, IQ 9, health 11. He has a police rank, which is interesting. Maybe he's worked for the militia in town. He requires extra sleep, however. He fights with a scythe. Hits with an 8 on 3d6. An 8 or less. We have a human cut purse with a high dexterity of 16, which is fitting. IQ of 14, health of 12, strength is 9. Perception of 3, however, which is terrible for a thief type character, but that's fine. That's why these guys are peasants. They don't have much skill. We can bump that up if he lives longer. His advantage is appearance. He's a good-looking lad, but he suffers from flashbacks. We're not sure what. If he doesn't. Maybe he's prone to flashbacks. Once he goes through the horrors of this adventure, he will certainly have flashbacks if he lives. Last but not least, we have our human fireman. Sounds like a cool guy. He's got Daredevil for advantage. He gets bonuses when he does daring acts and deeds. He is confused, however, for a disadvantage. He fights with an axe, which sounds cool, but his dexterity is 6, giving him a 5 or less on a roll with 3d6, so he's not going to hit much. He's got a strength of 7. He's not going to do much damage. His IQ is 11, health 14, hit points 7, fatigue of 8. However, he's got a willpower of 6, so the GURPS rules allows us to do extra effort. If you make a will roll, you can, by sheer force of will and the expenditure of fatigue, of which he doesn't have much, you can boost your rolls. So maybe that's his best chance at succeeding at anything, succeeding at life in general. There is my 8 rando loser peasants who have volunteered. They've got nothing to lose, so they're taking up this adventure named The Call of Doom. Should be interesting. Let's see who dies first.